There's a show that I'm going to talk about that I started watching. Nick Diaz told me to watch it, so I started watching it today. I'm trying to get everybody, convince you to watch Baby Reindeer. Have you heard of this?
Oh, I've heard of it. I was thinking about getting around to it.
Man, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it a little bit. It actually, if you were to watch it, it would take you and I back to a time in our lives when we used to love shit like this.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's kind of like, oh, man, I don't know.
That is weird how much... I mean, I know for me, and I guess you as well, used to love those kind of things. And there's just a point in my life I was like, yeah, too much of this stuff happens in real life. I'm not enjoying it. I know too much now.
Oh, yeah. And that thing might be a cautionary tale for myself.
Woo! You can't let her affect us like this.
It's not her affecting us, it's you.
Here's where I'm looking at this, and I'm just kind of like, shit. He's a comedian. You know, I do the same. I think I'm better than him. No.
Yeah, he looks like he's terrible. I mean, he makes Arthur Fleck look good.
Yeah. And funny you should say that because some of this has the feeling of Joker or Kings of Comedy, which pretty much is Joker also. Of course, you know, what do you call it? The Bunny Boiling movie.
Fatal Attraction.
Fatal Attraction has elements of all that. But man, where this really makes me relate to this character. He wants to see where this goes.
Okay, that's you.
Yeah. Like anybody else would be like, you know what, I got to figure out how to end this or ban her from coming in here. I can see this, she's not well, this is not going to a good place. You know, I'm always the kind of person like, man, you know, because I'm always talking to crazy people.
Yeah,
I'm always talking to people. And, you know, you always like, man, can we talk to these people? Like, well, I want to see where it goes, man. This is a case of that shit backfiring. And there was a point where he could have backed off and he didn't and crossed the line where she, you know, she had him. I ain't gonna say what happens, but she has him. You know, he's the one that's making it uncomfortable now. And if she actually was to say some of these things that he's doing, she's got his ass. So yeah, man. But she's disturbed. In the way that
We got that from the trailer.
And the way that she's stalking him and going crazy in public places and. You know, and not afraid to do it in front of people. You know, most stalkers, they stick to the bushes in the shadows. No, she comes and she makes sure she comes to public places, finds times where there's a crowd of people to just harass him and put him on the spot. Oh man, and the more it escalates because it is something where this woman, I haven't seen it all yet, so I don't know what level she takes it, but you do feel something for her. You know, you do feel like, man, you know what? This woman, yeah, she needs to be committed. She needs to be stopped before she hurts herself or somebody else. But man, you know, this guy, if you wouldn't keep telling her what she wants to hear, or if you wouldn't keep, just kind of tagging her on, misleading her, trying to, find material or getting off on the attention or just finding the humor in this situation or, just to solve your morbid curiosity of what's going on with her, she probably wouldn't be this bad with you. She'd move on to somebody else.
I've seen this kind of thing, and to me, it reads that he might protest, but he's feeding off the attention.
The crazy thing about this is that, he says that this is a true story. This is based on a one-man show that he did, and then he did the Netflix series. But apparently, everything that happened here is true, and we're getting to the point now where I feel like, man, we could easily get somebody like this stalking us. We've had stalkers before, but not like this.
Wait, could get?
I was going to say, some people would say otherwise.
Yeah. I feel like we've been lucky enough to kind of dodge a lot of this, but just barely. But are you learning something from watching this?
Huh? Yeah, this really made me kind of reconsider, like, oh man, when somebody comes up and acting a little weird, maybe you should shut it off.
Yeah.
Immediately instead of like having this, again, like him, this curiosity of, oh well, man, I want to get some material out of this. I want to, this is gonna be funny. I'll use this for a show.
Thanks for cutting away from me before you finished that sentence. I was like, come on, don't throw me under the bus like that.
No. Listen, I've gotten a lot of material from people just being weird around me and acting crazy, but this scared the shit out of me, man. Looking at this, I like I said, I'm on episode. Somebody said it gets dark on episode 4. It does, man. Like shit is. it really is the most uncomfortable thing I'm watching right now, and it still manages to be funny in some parts.
Yeah.
But it's dark, dark, dark.
How many episodes and how long are they?
That's the great thing. The longest episode, I think, is like 48 minutes.
Okay.
The rest of them are like 24, 30 minutes.
Oh, beautiful.
Around that 35
I'll watch
minutes.
this whole thing, man.
I am constantly looking for a 30-minute or less show.
Yeah.
Those are the best.
This last episode was like 48 minutes, and man, and I can see why, because that episode boiled to a point where it got violent. It got to the point where, and I got 3 more episodes to go now, so I don't know what's going to happen. But it didn't get violent, like I say, like a Fatal Attraction kind of way, or anything like that. It felt like it felt real. You know, it felt like somebody who's mentally ill, and you did string them along to the point where they, you know, you got them to that dangerous point. You know, you should have cut this off a long time ago, and now this person has snapped.
Yeah.
You know, and that kind of violence felt real.